Muted.
Us today. We are recording this seminar for those who might not be able to attend, or for those of us who have and would like to hear it in replay. My name is Shari Borek, and obviously I know all of you who have chosen to attend as my clients. I will just get started right away. The purpose of our webinar today is to discuss the options that you have as Amicus Attorney Premium users. Many of you may have already gotten some kind of communication from Amicus about upgrading or upgrade options, or may have been hearing things about the opportunity for some changes that have happened in the industry. Let me start by showing you, those of you who haven't seen me in a while, this is me on a good hair day. Some of us are supported remotely in today's remote environment, and I may not have had an opportunity to visit you recently, so here I am. Gamble & Gown was recently acquired by a new firm, Amicus Data Systems, and they were acquired in May of 2016. They're now a subsidiary. They do absolutely intend to continue to support the Amicus Premium product, but things are changing. Policies are changing. Things are being developed, and everything that I'm going through today are what we know now. My goal today is to tell you what the options are and for us to start the conversation. As you'll see a little bit later in the presentation, I understand that every firm is different, and there'll be different options that appeal to each one of you. So this is to get a starter conversation. The one thing that I also want to do is describe for you some terminology that you may hear or read about in the communications coming from Amicus, and that is the Amicus Private Cloud, also known as the APC, and it's a private desktop cloud-based system. So what does that mean in English? Desktop as a service is when, instead of logging in at your computer to seeing access to all of your information, you log into a remote computer that's being controlled in a data center. Your data is there, your environment is there. So instead of logging in to to the 15 different programs you have on your desktop, you're logging into one place where those 15 different programs exist. So it is a cloud, but it's a private cloud, and it has information only to you. More information can be found on the link that I've shown you below, and that the presentation that I'm doing today, I will absolutely be happy to share with any of you, so don't feel that you need to take frantic notes. I mention this because in some of the messaging that you may be hearing from Amicus and Amicus, they'll be referring to a new platform. And so rest assured that if you choose to go into this platform, that's an option, but you can also choose to stay where you are and have your Amicus running on your own networks, in your own environments, without that change, okay? And so therefore, it's really important to know that your program and your data at this point has not changed. If you're running on an older, unsupported version, it's going to work exactly the way it always has. If you're running on the brand spanking new versions of Amicus, it too will run exactly the way it always has. Obviously, if you're going to be upgrading, there'll be new features and upgrades and patches and things like that. Some of you may not actually be clear what version you have now. The easiest way to figure that out is to go to Help and then About Amicus Attorney from the menu bar, and that is where you'll see what version you have. And I know, based on my client base, that we have people that are going anywhere from Amicus Premium 2008 all the way to Amicus Premium 2016. And so you may already be on an unsupported version, and it's working just fine for you. You've maybe considered upgrading from time to time and are waiting for the right budget or the right time or the right feature that appeals to you. In June of 2016, Amicus, as has always been the case, they discontinued support for their oldest version. In the past, Amicus always supported 3 versions. And so up till recently, Amicus supported Amicus 2014, 15, and 16. What's changing now is that Amicus has changed their pricing model to subscription-based. So what you have now is what we call perpetual licenses, meaning you bought it, you own it, you can optionally get a tech support plan or a maintenance plan if you're supported, but you own the software. What the model is now, as of early August, is a subscription-based model, and I'll explain to you what that means. So as of August 5th, you cannot purchase additional licenses of Amicus without moving to a subscription model. In other words, you'll be paying periodically for that license, the newer licenses. You can also not sign up for a brand new tech support or a maintenance plan. And you can't extend an existing plan that you might have, whether it be technical support or maintenance, okay? That doesn't change what you have now. It changes when something, is either expiring, or it changes when you're up for renewal, or it changes, at the point that you need additional licenses. If you currently have a tech support plan that's active, you absolutely can use it. It is being honored. You can use the existing plan until that ends and expires. When it renews, you will be asked to renew on a subscription basis, okay? So if you decide at that point, hey, I had a tech support plan and I am still on the Amicus bandwagon, I really like the opportunity to get support, you'll be asked to go to that subscription model. You'll get updates, you'll get tech support, you'll get some services as well. The other option that you might have is you have an Amicus Advantage plan that's currently in force. In other words, you're within the first 3 years, or you've been on an Amicus maintenance plan for several years. An Amicus maintenance plan, for those of you who aren't familiar with it, is a plan that gives you it gives you upgrades without paying an additional cost. It gives you tech support, and it also gives you mobility features. So the mobility features are things like Amicus Anywhere or Amicus Time Tracker, and there's some other, a client portal. All of those things are part of the Amicus maintenance plan. It was introduced, I would say, about 5 or 6 years ago, and it was very appealing to a lot of people. We've always encouraged it because then you're able to budget how much you wanted over a several-year plan and not have to pay dramatic costs for a new program, which could be very costly, okay? So if you have an Amicus plan already, then, and you're in the beginning, we have some people who had just signed an Amicus plan. Well, for that length of time, it'll be exactly the way you agreed to. If you're in the middle of that plan, again, until it expires, you are on whatever, the same agreement that you signed has been honored. What changes is when you get beyond the first 3 years, or if you want to add licenses. Well, at that point, that's when we convert you to a subscription basis, okay? Some of you may have no tech support plan. We always call us. We call, you always call Borek Consulting for your needs. And of course, we're going to continue to support you as we always have. The only challenge is if we can't fix the issue that you have, and we need to reach out to tech support, through our resources or our colleagues or our information, we need something beyond that, then at that point, you may be asked to make a decision to convert to subscription in less than ideal circumstances. If we're having a problem and then we need to get that, then that's something that we have to deal with. Now, the advantage of this is you don't have to necessarily convert right that second. It's just about getting support. So that kind of leads to the next question, which is, what are your options right now if you have Amicus Premium? So the first one is stay where you are. stay exactly where you are, whatever version that you have. It will continue to work as it always has. You won't necessarily get upgrades or updates, but you will have the program that you're used to using as it is right now. Okay? The second option is to convert to the subscription model that we've been talking about. And just to give you a little bit more idea about that, it's just a matter of paying either periodically or monthly for the licenses. And again, it's all bundled in: upgrades, updates, tech support. They've just changed it to required instead of optional. The third option that you have is to move to a completely different product, either on-premise where it's installed or cloud-based. And so that's always an option. It always has been an option, where you look at something and you say, you know, this has been a great fit for me for now, but the past, you know, the grass is greener on another side. We like another product. We maybe don't use all the features that we have now, and we can accomplish it with other products. It's a conversation that we should have to see what you're using and what you need. If you stick with the current Amicus Premium without a subscription, then you're limited in these ways. You can't purchase additional licenses, and there's a potential impact if you're upgrading other programs. So let me give you an example. You have Amicus Attorney 2010, and you get the latest version of Microsoft Outlook 2016. Well, those two programs don't work together because Outlook 2016 was created long after your version of Amicus, and therefore there aren't any patches to accommodate any changes in the program. Same thing goes with time slips, right? Many of our clients work with either time slips or PC Law. Upgrading a new version of time slips may then require you to upgrade the version of Amicus. So these are things that you have to kind of keep in line together. Now, if you have new operating systems, so for example, Windows 10 just came out recently. To my knowledge and in our experience, you don't necessarily need to upgrade to the latest version of Amicus when you upgrade to Windows 10. However, if we have any incompatibilities or issues, then our choices are limited. Now, the reason that I put that backups are critical at the bottom, I really should have bolded it, starred it, underlined it, made it in like 52-point font. Anyone who's ever worked with me knows how important a backup is, and this becomes even more important. The great thing about Amicus Premium is that Amicus Premium has the ability within it to have automatic backups. If you're not sure whether those are set up, I'm happy to walk you through and make sure that those are happening. And in fact, if you have automatic backups with Amicus, that is, then you'll have an opportunity to get a message saying if a backup didn't work. If your entire server goes down, which has happened, then those backups are probably also going to go down as well. So it's important that you coordinate with your IT folks and make sure that your backups are being done properly. I'm happy to talk, although we don't do the systems integration with IT work. I'm more than happy to talk with any of the people that you work with and make sure that we've got your data set up and backed up properly. The reason that I say that is because sometimes, whether or not you have tech support, the only opportunity to restore is to recover from a backup, okay? So let this be a, just a warning, reminder, gentle, if you're not paranoid, they really are out to get you kind of thing, that it's a great opportunity at some point in the next couple of days to make sure that your backups are being automated and that your IT folks are verifying them. So those are your options if you want to stay exactly where you are. Okay, and again, many people have been staying on older versions of Amicus for a long time because it's working for them. Second option is you upgrade to the Amicus Premium latest and greatest. They're always adding new features. They are committed at this point. I've been told by many different sources that they're absolutely committed to keeping Amicus and to continuing to develop Amicus. As a matter of fact, just this morning I had a conversation with one of the chief people who's in charge of making that development happen, okay? Upgrading to the latest version of Amicus also is going to be the least disruptive to your environment because it's going to look very similar to what you already have. It's going to be very little learning curve, very little conversion involved, and so if you're not on the latest and greatest, it may be something to consider. I keep mentioning the subscription pricing, but I realized it was only at this slide that I had any kind of pricing involved. The retail price of the subscription model is $77 per user per month. Now, that price can also be adjusted if you are doing a longer term contract than 1 year. So if you say 1 year, or if you say 3 years or 5 years, we can adjust that, and I can work together with the Amicus and Abacus salespeople to help you. Okay, and that's just something that I think I've mentioned later in my presentation, but something that's worth mentioning now. Throughout any conversations, I want to make sure that you know we're here to support you and advocate on your behalf. Okay, so please involve us in these conversations so that we can help you no matter which choice you make. Okay, whether that's helping to negotiate a lower price on the subscription, or assisting you with converting to the latest version, maintaining your software as you have it now, or helping you exit and go move on to something else. As we said before about upgrading, remember that there's a potential, whenever you upgrade, no matter what, there's always a potential to make sure that all of the different things you may link with it work as well. You'll notice that if you're on a very old server or really old hardware, if you upgrade your Amicus, it may be worth or necessary to upgrade to higher component of hardware. Okay. The next thing, if you don't like options 1 or 2 behind door number 3, is decide that you're going to convert to a different program. Now, every single one of the people on this call is a different firm with different needs, and there is no one-size-fits-all. The first thing that you want to look at if you are considering change is what features are you using now? Out of the dozens, if not hundreds of Amicus features that are in the program, which ones do you use? Which ones do you need? Which ones do you could you live without? These are conversations that you have to have before even thinking about considering change, okay? And speaking of considering change, how comfortable is your firm with change? For some, not a big deal. Everyone will roll with it. For others, change would be a significant disruption in the way you work. And for your staff, when you're considering change, you have to also consider whether it's going to be a cloud or on-premise software, right? If you have aging hardware and don't want to spend a lot of money on infrastructure, if you need mobility and want an opportunity to explore other options, there's a lot of cloud-based software out there now that gives you a ton of advantages. If you feel that you really feel more comfortable with on-premise software and you want it installed in your environment and nothing else, then there's also options for that as well. Obviously, depending on what you choose, there's going to be different components available. And also, if you have another third-party program, whether it's WorldDocs, TimeSubs, QuickBooks, do those programs link together with the product that you're considering. There's a very small list that I'm putting up here, but this is by no means an exhaustive list. I simply took some of the most popular products out there that you might consider. Practice Master, PC Law, Time Matters, Clio, ActionStep, Cosmolex. There are many more out there. If you are considering, whether it's tomorrow or in 6 months or a year, thinking about it, please let us know, because we really we like to consider our clients, and we like our clients to consider us as your consultants, your legal technology consultants, not just the Amicus person or the time source person or, a product specialist, although that, of course, is what we are. Our goal is to make sure that you have the right fit and you're taken care of. We do work with other products other than Amicus and can help you make a choice. And if you're interested in a choice that we don't support, it is very likely that we can refer you to colleagues who have expertise. Okay? Amicus billing. At this moment, it is currently supported, but at this moment, no new development is planned. However, that may change very shortly. So I'm not going to dwell on this because, as I said, lots of policies are changing. So if you have questions about that, please contact me directly, and we will be happy to, give you the latest updates as we know them. So what's next? As I said, no matter what option you choose, we'll help you support it. I would much rather have conversations with you now, in 2 months, in 6 months, whenever that is, so that you can make a well-informed, thought-out decision, and it is something that works well for you. Please contact us before you make any decisions so that we can help you be part of that conversation. And also, please contact us, as I said before, so that we can be your partners in talking with the Amicus and Amicus people, so that we work together as a team. I'd like to open up the floor to questions, and what I'd like you to do with that is type in the chat box for within the GoToMeeting environment. And so I'll give everyone a chance to open up and mention their questions. Okay, so we have a question here. We're getting a lot of, okay, let me read it. We're getting a lot of marketing messaging, and we're getting a lot of confusion in when we get what is this platform all about? They're talking about security and platforms, and does that mean Amicus or something else? The key is that with this new platform, that's the Amicus Private Cloud, that is a very strong push on the Amicus side because it's an environment that they can help support. It is something that they believe strongly in. But remember that you can still be on your own on-premise information. So if you're not interested in the desktop as a service, which is what they call that, a cloud environment for your desktop, then that's okay, okay? So please don't be concerned or frightened that whatever platform you have now is not adequate to run Amicus, unless, of course, you need to upgrade some hardware or software. So we have another question that says, if we have Amicus Premium and Billing 2016, how can we continue on our current platform? How long can we continue on our current platform before we need to change? The answer is, it depends on whether you have a Amicus maintenance plan or not. Technically speaking, you don't have to upgrade if you don't want to. You could continue to go on. Until the new version or a new platform is released, they will continue to put patches and they'll continue to do fixes. In fact, they're planning a big fix in the next few weeks, which address a lot of small issues. So it's not a matter of how long you can continue. As I said before, we've got a ton of people on everything from Amicus Premium 2008 all the way to 2016. It's a matter of if something would trigger the need for a change. For example, an additional license or some other new version of a third-party product that would impact it. Now, in general, I would say that most software has a lifespan of, I would say, 2 to 3 years before those things change, right? Operating systems, third-party products, patches and things like that, Windows updates, anything that could impact your program. I hope that answered that question. Any other questions? Okay, now here's another question. How do I know if when my current plan expires or if, when my current plan is up for renewal? And that answer is you can contact either us, and we'll be happy to find out for you on your behalf. That's probably the easiest. Or you can also contact Amicus directly, and they'll be happy to look it up for you as well. If you're interested in finding out that information, feel free to contact us, and we'll be happy to do that on your behalf. Okay, I have another question that says, we have an older, coming in here, we have an older version of Amicus. How do we know what the new features are? Well, I'll be more than happy to go over those new features, give you a demonstration, review if those features would be applicable to your firm. No problem. Okay, so if we don't have any other questions, what I'm going to do is I will close off our presentation for today. We will be happy to send you a link to this recording and or the PowerPoint presentation. And feel free to contact us to set up a time to speak if you have any other questions and if anything occurred. The key takeaways, in my opinion, are, number one, we're not going anywhere. Borek Consulting isn't going anywhere, and we're happy to be your partners in getting this process and just transitioning. Number two, there's no need to make any immediate decisions depending on your circumstances. So please don't feel panicked or that you're being pressured to make a choice right this minute. Thank you, everyone, for attending. I appreciate it, and I look forward to speaking to you all shortly. Thank you.